It was metallic silver with colored light. They could see no windows or opening, and it was about 20 feet in length and 10 feet high. Suddenly the train engine died, and they struck the unknown object, going about 30 miles an hour, with 16,000 trailing tons behind them. The object clipped the top of the train and sliced a chunk out of the trailing unit, and first 2 coal cars. Then it disappeared from sight. The train rolled to a stop about 2 miles past the point of impact. They immediately notified their dispatcher in Jacksonville, Florida, who instructed them to inspect the train. Train members said all their watches had stopped at the moment of impact, 2:47 a.m. We checked everything out, and the cab of the rear locomotive was demolished. The second 2 cars looked as if they had been hit with a giant hammer, but looked like they'd hold the rail, said one employee. But the story only gets more complicated. When the train finally pulled into the Paintsville yard at 5:15 a.m., they were met by a whole army of workers dressed in weird outfits. Normally, the shipyard is empty at this hour. Everyone on the train was escorted away and asked hundreds of questions. Afterwards, they were told for their own protection they needed to be medically tested before they could leave. Hours later, when we left the yard office, strange things still continued to happen. A huge tent had been constructed over the train, and the 2 locomotives and damaged cars were being removed from the rest of the train, said one individual. We were let off the property and told, due to national security, our silence on the matter would be appreciated. Is what they said. The 2 men were driven to the town of Shelbyana, where they rested for 8 hours before boarding another train for the trip back to Russell. As we passed by Paintsville, there was no sign of the engines, cars, tents, people. Nothing, said one train member. Nothing. Seems like everything disappeared. Well, who are they? And what do they want? And where do they come from? Well, this is RDS here once again from the gate.